Right, good evening everyone. I hope you're all okay. This is tonight's stream for all members, expert and student members. It's not one of the free streams though. But what we will do is we will start with some on-chain data and then we'll go through some of the charts. And in between I'll explain some of the macro stuff, which obviously is not good right now. But let's start with glass nodes, exchange net position change. Zoom right in. So we've seen a decrease. I would like to see what we're seeing today on Monday. Obviously that data comes out tomorrow, so we have to wait for the sort of close this evening. But overall, I think because Bitcoin has gone down, we're down 3.88%. I think we're going to see that there's potentially some even green spikes or a lack or very small amount of red spikes. Overall, I think we're going to see this change. I don't think it's this type of scenario where we saw a big amount of red with price coming down and then we blasted through. I don't think we're going to see that. I'll explain why in this. Well, I'll explain why now actually. So what we're seeing here is we saw large transactions go through the roof in this zone here. So what that means is a lot of the institutions were getting involved at those prices. If we now look at whale map and we go to large transactions, we're looking in here. So we noticed that there would have been a lot of the bigger players coming in. This shows everything. It's like a 20 million plus. So we saw these levels of spikes in here, which is very good, which is what we wanted to see. And all this was the exiting. But look at the large transactions. They've only really been here, not really so much here. But they came about a lot in here, and then there was a selling in there at the 57k range, and there was a lot of the buying in the 42k range. So that's why here we saw all of this. But this situation I do not think is like that. If we zoom back in, we can see that we have a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I think these would have been sales rather than buys. So I think we're going to see these spikes basically reduced. Let's look at addresses, see what they're doing. Addresses balance greater than 0.01. They're sort of flattening off. 0.1 sort of decrease. Let's zoom back in actually and look at it on a more tighter range. So they're sort of leveling off as well. Addresses with balance greater than 1. Similar story. Addresses with balance greater than 10. So they're not spiking, but they're increasing slightly. I feel like this will be short-lived, but let's see. Addresses with balance greater than 100. So pretty flat. Addresses with balance greater than 1000. Again, come down and now pretty flat. So overall, the addresses aren't really there. Lifespan I've been through earlier today. There's no spikes on any of the lifespan metrics. So let's now head to whale map and large wallet inflows. We're not really seeing many. We've still got this big one here, 225,000 Bitcoin, but we're not seeing. So this is the bigger the bubble, the larger the amount of Bitcoin that was purchased that's still being held today rather than has already been sold. So obviously you can see we've not got many blue bubbles. This isn't a lot really, which represents the fact that not many people have bought and are still continuing to hold. So this is not good for the overall picture. What you want to see is loads of blue, because that would mean that people have bought and are still holding their coins. So that's the really important part, is the fact that they've bought and are still holding. So with there not being many blue bubbles, that means effectively that they're basically just not holding the coins anymore. They've already sold. So this is not good, but a great metric to give us an insight into the market. But overall, the situation is not great. Let's go to the charts and the macro. So we had the Fed meeting minutes come out last week, and it's probably put a stop to the rallies, to be honest, because just of how hawkish it was, where the Fed said that they would have done a 50 basis point interest rate rise in March, but they didn't because of the geopolitical situation. They then said that they hinted that it'd be very likely that they do a 50 basis points rise at the next meeting, which is on I think it's the 9th of May. So I think that will be very likely. And they'll also talk about reduction of the balance sheet assets. So this is not good for the markets. It will see the liquidity levels drop significantly. And that will mean things struggle to catch a bid. So when things come down, they're not going to bounce back up. So something like this, if we zoom in now, it looks like we're in this big downtrend and now this bear flag, which it's not a bear flag, it's an uptrend channel. But so looking at Bitcoin now, we've broken the local uptrend line. We've broken below the 50% support of the main channel. We couldn't hold this bull flag. We broke down from the local bear flag. And now we're also breaching under this horizontal resistance at 40,900, give or take. So I think here we can just go straight back down. I think we will have retests. I think we'll try tonight to reclaim 40,900 and get the 12-hour candle close above. You might get a retest back into like late 42s, 43s. If we get that, it's a possible short. So I'll probably be playing that as a possible short, to be perfectly honest. So let's see what we get. But if we do get above those levels, I think the narrative now has changed. And we have to be adaptable to the new information that's been presented with us. You can't just, sit there and feel like, oh, you're being strong because you're holding to one opinion. It's not how trading works. You have to be able to swing and move with the new information that comes out. Obviously, there's new information every few weeks, but you can't be changing on a day-to-day. It's got to be a change on a fortnightly basis, basically. So that's what we're looking at. I think Bitcoin can retest somewhere in here. As you can see, yellow boxes are not really working. Here it failed. There was one somewhere in like here, I believe, failed. So this tells us the market is not bullish overall. When the yellow boxes keep failing, that's not good. The orange boxes, I think we could end up playing, but a lot of them haven't really reached their orange boxes anyway. But yeah, I think we can head down to retest the bottom border. Be interesting to see what happens. Let's extend this now. Perfect. Something like that. So I think, yeah, we are going to end up heading somewhere like down here, but I think we'll try and retest in here first, somewhere in the mid 42s to 43s, and if we do get that, I'll consider a short. So that's the play for Bitcoin. Ethereum, so it's approaching its yellow box, having broken down from the bear flag. This might be good for a bounce play. So you might get a move into sort of 2970 to 29, and then a move up to 3-1. You could get something like this. But overall, the market is not too brilliant, to be perfectly honest. Let's look at Litecoin. Litecoin is very bad. The volume is very bad. And, you've had some spikes in volume, but they're red. Let's zoom in a bit more. So you have had some spikes in volume over the last 3 days, but look, they've been big down candles. And look at all the big spikes in volume, all been red over the last couple of weeks. Nothing really more than that. And even the big green ones we've got in here weren't really that significant. So Litecoin I'm definitely not interested in. FTT is one that now worries me. It was looking really strong. If we could have held this line here and bounced there, it would have been a perfect bull flag. But it's just not how it's panned out. And I believe the information did come out around here, which is probably why we've had the sell-off, because people are basically the professional investors are getting out of risk on assets. So that just seems to be what's happening, because the markets are likely going to take a tumble at some point in the coming months, and you don't want to be in these kind of assets that can really capitulate downwards. Volume-wise, we were looking much better, which was good. It's what we wanted to be seeing. But now we're down trending in volume, which we have probably since here. And a lot of the bigger volume candles are red. So overall, it's not good. You have to play with new information, and overall, it's not good. I think we can get a retest higher, but I think overall, we inevitably come back down to 34. Solana, very disappointing. Crashed below the 115 level. We wanted to maintain the flag and then burst back through and test the orange box, but we didn't even get there. Overall, I think we can retest 115 and then probably come back down to 79 eventually. So BNB was one of the ones we thought was quite weak overall, simply because it didn't claim any major horizontal resistance levels other than this one, and when it did get above, it was basically battling and getting rejected at the following one. So as soon as we got rejected there, and then we're rejected at, you see how we got saved on this candle, we went below and then quickly closed above. But here you had the close below and then basically at the horizontal support. So when you had the next candle which closed below, chances are you're going to keep going lower. Obviously you have the big retesting candle, but not much come of it, and then you continue lower. So I think overall we can probably retest 417 on any good days, but overall we'll come back down to 382. I think that's just going to be the general direction. Matic not very good, incomplete and utter no man's land, same as usual. Yeah, just not interested here. When you hit the $1.69 level, that's where you have to realize that this has to get above here now. And if it can't, it's probably going to come back and retest $1.24. So I do think we are going to end up going there. And I've been saying it for the last, probably week or so that it's just not very strong. So I've got Polkadot. So declining volume again. Couldn't hold the uptrend. Couldn't hold the horizontal support at $19. Now breached below. I think you can get a retest and then down again. So again, a lot of these charts look very similar. So with this being the case, I do think we're going to continue going lower. The best thing we can do here is try to preserve the capital. That's definitely the best thing that we can do, is preserve the capital and wait for the right time to buy. If the right time to buy comes in the next couple of months, and you are getting a $24,000, $26,000, $27,000 Bitcoin, that's then the right time to buy. So if you can preserve as much as you can now for then that you've traded well. So you get Chainlink, very similar story to Chainlink, now breaching below the main downtrend line. Well, I think we can have a slight recovery, maybe a pop into like 16, something like this. But overall, I'm just not confident on any of these now, to be honest. If everything wasn't so low, I'd be shorting things left, right, and centre, to be honest. But overall, just not looking too strong. Avax is one, it's battling on this horizontal support now, having broken below the main uptrend line. This is so volatile, this coin. It's not really, you went from 75 to 95 in the space of like 5 days. So it's not something you really want to get involved in. There's better opportunities out there. So Luna is one of the ones I'm looking at. Luna has come literally straight down. It's had a sort of 33% decline in a matter of days. You want to get a bounce here. Wait for a bounce to happen. We're very low on the RSI, so things are likely to still have some form of bounce. So when this does have a form of bounce, I mean, it can get somewhere like, I think we could get back to 100. If we do get back to 100, I will then, this is the one I'm primed looking at for shorts. Curve broke below, rejected the orange box, broke below the local uptrend line, now can't hold the $2.36 level support, and now breaching below, probably going to test the 198s at some point. I'm not sure when it'll be. We'll probably have a retest, battle with the trend line, battle with the horizontal resistance line, and then back down to 198. Phantom has been really weak all along. This is not something we were considering really when the market was going up. So it's not something we're interested in now, especially for buying. I think the plays now is to really start looking for the ones that were overextended that we can short. And that's something like a Luna, maybe even a Solana. Solana has got good volume. So wait for it to have a few good days first and then short into those good days. That's probably the plan. So look at Sand. So as we said, couldn't hold this $3.45 level, and now it's broken all the way back down to $2.70. So you're down 20% basically on this position if you were holding it. But overall, we were saying the volume was very low, just not something we were interested in. There's one more. So Rune is one I'm potentially considering to short, assuming we can have a bounce back to like 10. If we have a bounce back to 10, I will short it. But for now, I'm not really too interested. Waves down to 20. This is really sad to see, because we were considering shorting this so many times, but the insiders have sold. Yeah, just disappointing. There's other ones to catch, like Rune will be a good one to catch. Possibly not that one. Rune is on my radar. Solana is on my radar. You could even say FTT is on my radar. There's no reason we can't retest 43s, 44s, and then come all the way down to 34 and load up on that short. But I think ETH would be a good one if we can get back to 3140, retest there, and then break below. I think Solana is a good one, and Luna is probably the main one I'll go short on. But at the same time, you don't want to be shorting into this. It's like, imagine if this was the other way. You don't want to be buying that. We want to wait for it to bounce, and then we want to be shorting into that. But overall, it's not a long stream today. I know the markets haven't been good, but a lot of you just stay patient, just stay learning everything. And yeah, the best thing to do is stay patient, continue learning everything, so that when the time does come that, the really bullish times are here, you can make a lot of money during those times if you've spent the hard hours now learning the right kind of stuff. So I think really focus on that. Focus on preserving your capital, and wait for the opportunities to come. When they do come, you can make money, as we did with Curve, as we did with Solana. We made good money on those, when most people now would have made money on them as well, but would have lost that money. At least we booked big profits on the way, and that's the whole point of trading, is when the opportunities are there, take them. The rest of the time, just sit in US dollar. That's it. You don't need anything else. Sit in US dollar, wait for opportunities to come. If you can get one good opportunity a month, over the year, you'll make a lot of money. So that's the way to basically go. For now, preserve, wait for the opportunities, continue to learn, and when the bullish times come back, which they will do, I think we're only going to be in this for a few months, then that will be the right time. That'll be the right time to buy, and that's where the real money is made. But other than this, I think that's it for today. It's a very short stream. I think I've been just under 20 minutes for this one, so not too long. If any of you guys have any questions, please let me know in the chats. I'll be around this evening. I'm literally going to cook now, and then I'll be on my phone, so I can answer whatever questions you guys have. But other than that, I think that's it. Any questions, fire over, and I'll get back to you. Cheers, everyone. Have a nice evening.